Welcome, Deviant Drivers, to another episode of A Drink with a Driver. We're back.
Finally,
Finally.
you had to say back, right? We're back,
Yeah, we're back.
jackass.
So, yes, we are back. Thank you to Larry and Glovis for holding it down last week for us. That was awesome. Really enjoyed watching
I
that
think
that
I
one.
think they had more guests of one podcast than we usually have in one season.
I think so. I think you're right. I think they did. Yeah, they had a bunch. And they drew each other too. So,
Dude, that shit was funny. If I drew you,
oh God.
it would be,
All right, fine. I'll draw you right now. That's what we'll do.
yeah, it'd be something like that. Hold on, can you see that? Yeah, it'd be like that. That's that's what I think you look like in real life.
There's you.
Please tell me I got a beard. All right, that works. You got to get it up a little bit though. It's not just hanging off the bottom of my chin like
Yeah,
Preston.
yeah, it's like all kind of like in here. There you go.
Preston's gonna shoot me for saying that. I admire his beard. It has nothing to do. It's all out of admiration. It's not about insult. Uh,
Uh,
yeah,
so
we're
welcome
back.
back, everybody. We're back again, and we brought somebody with us this time. We did not draw them.
No, we did not draw them because my drawing sucks, and your drawing is even worse.
It's
So
true.
it is what it is. But yes, let's not procrastinate any longer. Let me go through the accolades for this driver to begin with. So this driver joined us June 13th, 2023. He's driven in Sunday Cup. He's been a captain before. He's driven an endurance race. He's defended in the relegation race twice. He beat my ass in 1 versus 1, and I think most of you probably know who it is. It's who set the pace at St. Croix with a 3:04.935, a fucking blistering pace. I shouldn't say fucking, sorry. And Team Pike Fitness. Welcome, Mr. Zanchin, aka Berman, as we know him. Welcome to the podcast, sir.
Welcome.
There he is. Look at that beard. Fantastic.
What's up, guys?
What is
Yeah.
up, man?
How's it
First
going?
and foremost, everyone wants to know how the hand is. No one really gives a shit because they saw what you did on track yesterday. But we got to know, how's the hand?
Yeah, it's healing up. I took time for my wounded hand and now it's doing all right. Um, it was so unfortunate though, because I had gone out on Friday night. I joined a softball league recently,
Mhm.
and I'm out there hitting balls for the first time in a long time, and I'm like, damn, that bat really jacked my hand up. So afterward, I did some practice laps, and I'm like, it's gonna be really tough to drive on Sunday. And then Saturday, you guys probably heard the story. My brother shows up with a skateboard at my house and was like, hey,
Mhm.
well, let's go ride. And I was like, all right, let's go. And first drop in, just slam right into the concrete. And so same hand is just jacked. And I'm like, fuck it, I'm racing. Can
Nice. That's the way it should be, man. That's the way it
we
should
cuss
be.
on here?
I mean, yeah, you literally killed it. You were on pole, right? No, who took pole?
Got pole. Yeah.
You took pole at the end.
I
You
did
got
take
past the
pole, but I
stop.
got passed immediately.
Well, that's Porsche syndrome. I deal with the same in the Porsche. So it is what it is. But you know, again, to put down a 3:04, I saw it at the end. I was like, God, Lord, that is blazing. So kudos to you, man. Like that was a lightning quick lap you had there, and in race and on
Yeah,
freaking
thanks.
medium is nuts. You're locked in. What was the
Yeah,
trick?
Preston,
Like, what was the trick for you?
so I didn't know the track going into it. I
Yeah.
think a couple weeks ago, like maybe like a week and a half before the race, I started practicing. Um, I looked at a track guide for this one. I've never done that before, and it kind of
Yeah.
had some brake references that I wouldn't have used otherwise. It was like,
Hmm.
here, brake at the 150 board, and I'm like, well, 150, that's way earlier than I would normally brake. So I tried it, and some of the reference points I ended up kind of modifying a little bit, but for the most part, it was really helpful. So I learned the track, just did a lot of like practice races. Um, and then yeah, I guess I just put in the time. Like for the most part, this season and in prior seasons, especially like the last three, I've just been really focused on work. So, I'm like, oh God, it's time to race again, and I'll like throw together maybe like an hour of practice,
Yeah.
a couple days before or something, and then like wake up super early in the morning to try to get on before you guys
Hmm.
uh start the race. Being on the West Coast is a little bit tough, but yeah, this time just put in the laps and it showed.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think most everybody out of the league did the same thing because I think this is one of those tracks that we've kind of taken for granted that we've never come to. Like we've done the one of the St. Croix variations, which is the normal one. I think it's C.
Mhm.
Could be wrong. Someone will correct me. But this one being St. Croix A with all the flat 90s, and we tried to, encourage our team, like don't try to you talk about the 150 board. Like don't try to hit the 150 board exact every single time. Like
Mhm.
coast into 150 because your exit means more than your entrance on this track because every turn is a long straight
Yeah.
thereafter. So if you screw it up and overshoot it, you're losing tons of time.
Oh yeah.
So it's more
Mhm.
important to come in slow, exit fast, uh, and I think that helped you tremendously in doing that. So before we get any further, let's get into what we're drinking tonight because it is called Drink with a Driver. I am staying hydrated with my water from the Smoothie King. I'm obviously in a hotel. I have limited provisions. I've already had a couple drinks. I thought about getting an old fashioned from the bar, and I was like, you know what? I'm still on some meds. I'm gonna take it easy tonight. So I'm refreshing from Smoothie King water is where I'm at tonight. Cheers.
Cheers.
Well, I'm having the usual.
I got myself a
So,
glass of scotch here.
Yeah, don't even worry
oh,
about Merc. Merc does. My water has more content than his does. So Zanshu's drinking an actual scotch. Which one are you drinking? I got you breaking up a little bit.
You go. I was waiting for you guys, and Glenmorangie. Do you hear me a little better?
Yeah,
yeah,
Still breaking up?
yeah, just a little bit.
yeah. Do you-
But you're drinking a scotch, which all of us can respect.
Show us the bottle again. It didn't come through. There you go. Nice.
That's like an old school bottle.
Yeah, it looks like something from the 20s or something.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, this one is one of my favorites for sure. Easter. Have you guys ever had Glenmorangie before?
Yeah, I've had it a couple times. I used to be real big into scotch, and then like 2011, started getting into bourbon, moved up to Greenville, heavy, like no big distilleries, but just big bourbon push with the whole like Southern gentleman hospitality restaurant kind of thing. And they just the big bourbon menus coming out. So I got into that and
Yeah.
I never went back. I still got some scotch on the shelf. We got a couple expensive ones, but I've just been big bourbon here for about 10 years now. So I'll take it down. I'm not going to push it away, but yeah, props to that. I think that's our first scotch on the channel as well. So kudos to you and your 304 and your damn scotch.
No way. Wow, that's wild. Man, it
Yeah,
was quiet
yeah.
for a second. I was like, nobody's talking about the drinks. I'm just jumping in.
All right, so we're gonna get to know you a little bit more.
What are you drinking?
Uh, Merc's drinking water like I am. Go ahead, show him what you're drinking.
Who, me?
Yeah, you.
Yeah.
Where's light? Water, like I said.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
I
I
feel
should have
like we
busted out the
need
champagne. I think this is my first ever GT3 win.
is it really? No.
No.
We'd have to fact check that.
I've won in back in GT Sport when I joined the league. I think Victor was still pretty new.
Yeah, yeah, I
We were
remember that.
racing with like Vic and Besso, and who was that other guy that was really fast? He was from the West Coast too. Spud. I can't remember what his other handle was.
There was a guy named
Yeah, I
Spud.
can't remember right offhand. You had booths in your lobby as well back then too.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, I don't remember. Spud was one of them though. But for
I'll,
sure,
I'll try to think of it. But anyway, yeah, like he was fast. I used to win back in GT Sport, but then I moved into like the leagues with safety car, and I just haven't been able to. I've like
yeah,
really slowed down.
yeah.
Or the drivers are better. That's part of it.
No, I mean that's definitely going to be a part of it. But I think, I've always been, I've always well respected you because I knew at any moment you could click and no one was going to be able to keep up. You know what I mean? Because like over the years, I've seen what you've been able to do in certain cars, certain situations. My first question is going to lean into this quite a bit, but you know, doing the 1v1 and then just even on race day, I remember going around the Nürburgring GT ring or what was that called? The GP circuit, right? For Nürburgring. I remember
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
on my butt when I'm trying to chase boat down and you're on my butt the entire time. And I was like, God, I can't shake this guy. You know what I mean? But I've always just had this respect for you that regardless of where you finished in the league or the, relegation race or whatever, like I always knew that despite what you were doing, you always could just click at any moment and just blow the doors off of most everybody in the league. So I've always had that admiration for you. I don't know where it came from. It wasn't 1v1 because that was just total. I was pissed off, but again, kudos. So, but it leads me into my first question. So we're gonna get a couple questions under our belt, get to know you a little bit better. So you've had an unfortunate, some would say more than most, string of vehicles that you've had to run in our GT World League, right? You were in the R8, right? You were in the Ferrari. Um, you've had a rough string where it was evident that it was the car, it wasn't your capabilities. Which car did you hate the most that you've ever driven in either GT Sport or in GT World? Which one was just like, I can't wait to get out of this damn thing?
Yeah, definitely the Audi.
Yeah.
People say that it's changed after updates, but that car was miserable, man. Like entry into corners, it would just start sliding sideways, and I couldn't control it. I had a really hard, like I love an FR car, but for some reason I just couldn't get that one down.
Yeah.
MR is, really tough for me, and I think that's why I struggled in the Ferrari too.
Mhm.
Um, I'll give him a chance again. Like I like to drive him, but I felt like the tire wear was really bad, so I get like 3 or 4 good laps in, and then it just falls apart.
I remember you going around Road Atlanta and just like turn one, you got that sweeping high speed turn uphill, downhill descent on braking, but then immediately uphill. And every single time you guys were just sliding into it. You and I think it was Bad Rock too.
Oh
Like
yeah.
do the same thing, man. I felt for you guys so much in that. Ironically enough, I was in the Lexus as what you are in this season. Um, so remind me, how did you get into the league? Was it a Reddit post or were you poached by somebody?
It was Reddit. Yeah. So I was on there trying to kind of like bolster my fitness business. I was like, and I see somebody talking about Gran Turismo. Hey, we've got a racing league. And I was like, oh, I'll check that out.
Mm-hmm.
And the first time I raced with you guys was really informal. We were just like running laps at Spa. And
Yeah.
I was like, oh, these guys are really cool. And I remember a couple of you sounded identical, so I had a hard time like figuring out who was who. But it's been a fun bunch.
Yeah, no, it's been a good time, man. It definitely has
Who are
been.
these guys?
Um, so in real life, what do you drive in real life?
Now something super practical. I've got like a Nissan Xterra.
Okay. I used to love those damn things, man. Just from the outside, the ruggedness of it. Do you
Yeah,
do
very
any,
capable.
yeah, I was gonna say, do you do
Yeah,
any
I take it out.
overlanding or anything?
I wouldn't say it's too extreme, but I live really close to the Rubicon Trail. So I'll head out in that direction from time to time, like
That's
up in the
cool.
Sierras and, find some high mountain lakes. Yeah.
Oh yeah. How long have you been in California? Your whole life, or did you move out there?
No, I grew up in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Okay.
Um, I lived I lived there until 2011. I moved out here in 2011.
All right. Las Vegas. Sure you got some stories about Las Vegas now.
Yeah, man, it's a it's a cool town, but I was so excited to get out of there. Like we've got no water, we've got no trees,
Yeah.
everything just seems fake. Like
Yeah.
even a lot of the people, right? It's all about like entertainment, everything's flashy, and I was like, I need something like a little bit more real and
Yeah.
sustainable. So
More tangible. I get
You know,
that.
that's the funny thing about it. It doesn't matter like where you grew up. Everybody's ready to get the hell out of there, right? Like you can live in like
yeah,
everybody else thinks it's the coolest place in the world, like to visit or vacation or whatever. They're like, oh man, you grew up there. And everybody that lived from there is like, yeah, I just couldn't wait to get the hell out. It doesn't matter where it is. Could be anywhere.
absolutely.
Yeah, I don't want to say we, but I mean, like in our young adult,
Yeah,
me and
people from
teenager.
big cities are trying to get to like small towns. People from small towns are trying to get to big cities.
Hmm. Yep. I grew up on a beach and same thing. Like I was ready to just get out of there.
I think we've got a bad connection here because that we might be,
Yeah, y'all are stepping on each other a little bit.
yeah.
Yep. It's all right.
Sorry.
We'll work through it.
Uh-oh.
Who's coming through, Merc? Me or Zanchin?
It's just a delay, I think, on
Okay.
Zanchin's end. I
All
think.
right. We'll work through it. No
Yeah,
big
we'll
deal.
work through it. It's fine.
Hmm.
No big deal.
Um, so we asked this during I think Glovis asked this during the last podcast. We'll ask you. So, you have a unlimited budget for whatever cars you want to buy. You've got a limit of 3 cars to put in your garage. Can be as it could be fictional. It could be as real as you want it to be. But without a budget in mind, what 3 cars would you put in your garage?
Oh, that's a good one. I'd probably have to go with one good off-road car. Um, something that, I could travel a long way. Like I'd say maybe like a truck or something. Um, 4x4 built out with like, the winch and like all the recovery stuff and enough room to carry supplies. Um, so I don't have like a specific truck in mind. There are a lot of good ones out there. But the Japanese trucks from like uh late 90s, early 2000s run forever, something like that.
Mhm.
Just kind of cleaned up would be nice. Um, Getting around town, probably like a little commuter, even a sports car or something. Um, I've always really loved late 90s Japanese cars. Um, I've had like a handful of Nissans. I had the 240SX for a while, like something like that, like project car that I built, with an unlimited budget would just be a blast.
Mhm.
And then the third, I'd say probably a motorcycle.
Okay.
Um, Depending on how traffic is out there, uh, motorcycles can just get places easier, park easier. Like it's crazy out here in California sometimes. Like that'd be really cool.
I think that's our first motorcycle.
It is.
Sure. Yeah. And I think truck wise, for me, if I had to go truck, I'd do like an F-650 that is just massive. It can literally park on top of any
Whoa.
car that's out there. That's where I would go with it. So the infamous question. Well, first, before we even get into my last question that everyone knows is coming, when did you start playing Gran Turismo? Were you a early bloomer or kind of late in the game?
On controller, I remember playing like Gran Turismo 1 and 2.
Mhm.
Um, Not a lot, but I would like fool around with them, right? And then sometime when I was in high school, I had a good friend of mine who was really into it. Um, and he got me into the license tests. He was like, dude, the license tests are like where it's at. If you want to get good at driving, do these things. He would just get gold on them like super easily. So I remember sitting there playing on the sticks, like trying to control these cars like with as much precision as possible. And I kind of got hooked at that point. Um, and then gave it up for a long time. It wasn't until like a wheel, um, and some sort of like PVC rig that I had built with my brother. Um, and playing on the wheel was a totally different experience. I think at that point, I really, really dug into it. But I started working around that time too, like with, kind of a legit career. So I was like, I can't put all my time into trying to shave fractions of a second off these laps, like I have to work and do something productive. Until GT Sport came out. And then I picked it up again and I had like kind of a chintzy wheel, but um, it was right around that time that they updated and launched Gran Turismo 7. And that's when I found you guys.
Yeah. So what wheel are you got? What wheel are you on tonight?
Right now, I've got the Fanatec DD Pro.
How long have you had that?
Oh, do you guys remember the endurance race we did at Spa?
Yes.
So I had a Thrustmaster during that race, and it was like about a month after that I got the Fanatec.
Did we have any influence into that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Good. That's all we want. That's all we really care about. We got our Fanatec pusher over here.
Oh yeah, for sure.
All right. So last question, everyone's favorite question. If you could punt anyone off the track, regardless of lap, regardless of any consequences, you can do it without any judgment. Who would you punt off the track?
All right, this one's like oddly specific, but
I'm
do you
excited.
guys remember like Zen and Besso always going at it, like just
Yeah.
back and forth together? Like they would just
Mhm.
get into these arguments and shit. I would put both of them like right next to each other and just kind of bowl through them.
Oh,
No,
that's
but
so good.
Zen's way cooler now that Besso's not in the league.
That's our first
Uh,
twofer.
yeah, I think that is our first two for as well. I'll knock them both their asses off the track. Oh, that's an epic response, man. But yeah, we all felt that. Just you could cut the tension with a knife. You knew it was inevitable. It was going to happen at some point, depending on the track. And when it did, it ruptured for sure. But yeah, interesting stuff. Well, I mean, that just proves how long you've been with us. You know what I mean? Like a lot of the guys don't even we're not around during that whole time. So good stuff, man. Well, listen, it's definitely great to have you. We've always wanted to meet you on the podcast and get you on here. You're very well respected in the league. You've always been, cordial and just clean racer on track. And obviously accidents happen now and again, but for the most part, like it's always been a delight to kind of have you on track and just your expertise. And although you didn't always show up every Sunday because of the car you were in, like I said earlier in the podcast, man, we always knew like it could take just any moment to click. And just this past Sunday just proved that with what you were capable of and just the gasp that came out of half the people that were on there. It was just epic, man. So yeah, love having you. Appreciate everything you're doing.
Yeah, guys, thanks for having me. Sorry about the bad connection today, but I'm
Mhm.
just appreciative of the opportunity to race with a bunch of clean guys out there on track and, keep improving our skills together.
Yeah, and we've done exactly that, man. Like you look back to when you first joined in middle of 23 and kind of where everybody is now. We've all pushed each other in one form or fashion, competitive wise, but it has been a lot of fun. So, who do you usually find yourself racing around most often? Like, who's that one person that you get up on their bumper and you're like, damn it, here we go again. You know what I mean? Like, who's that person for you?
Oh man. It used to be Vic, but I haven't raced with him in a long time. Now I feel like I'm all over the pack. Like Larry, though, I see Larry out there a lot. He's
Yeah.
usually right there, toe to toe with me. So
Yeah, Larry's the same way. Like, he's put down some some fast laps to show that what he's really capable of. And he's got a great track record of just his own personal life of racing and stuff like that. Him and his neighbor Jim having those opportunities. So, and it is showing too. And we do love the ambition that he and Jim are showing towards some of the younger guys and helping them on track and providing things. I don't know if you saw his little break video that he put together with
Yeah.
telemetry, which paid off to show quite a bit. It's cool.
Yeah, that was really cool.
So what was your let's get into the race. What was your strategy for St. Croix? Like, what was your tires that you chose? What did you end up doing? Did you think we would go 19 laps? Because I sure shit didn't. Just walk us through your race on Sunday.
Can you hear us? Can you hear us?
So I think you do this too. I'll run us and I'll put like one other car on 60 minutes. I can hear you. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yep.
I keep getting this little alert that says my connection is unstable, but I'm still here. Any luck? Can you hear me?
It's pretty choppy.
Yeah, we're good.
Damn.
Go ahead.
It feels like it comes and goes. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, so I'll just go to World Circuits and run like 60-minute races to see how many laps I can get in. I'll try to set the tire wear and fuel consumption the same as whatever we're going to do in the league. And I was getting like 5 lap stints on this last one. So I just said, okay, well, we'll see how safety car falls, but I'm going to try to do like hards, open on hards. The pace was pretty good on hards and the pace was better on mediums. So I was like, I don't need to worry about trying to go soft or anything. In fact, with the current settings, like I haven't even tried to run soft at all this season. I don't know if it's going to be worth it. Maybe if we get like an odd safety car. Uh, but just trying to run pretty much the same as I was getting in practice. And then the safety car fell on lap 5, which was a little early for me and things, so it worked out.
Okay. Why don't we let's try something. Xantra, do me a favor, kill your video. We've seen your gorgeous face. Let's see if it cleans up the audio a little
Okay.
bit if we kill your video. And maybe that'll clear up some of the choppiness. That's just as wonderful anyway. That's
Yeah, does
standing image that we
that
have.
sound any better?
No, it's better for now. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yep. So what did you run? Did you
Yeah.
run hard, medium, and you pit 3 times and all that?
Hard, yeah. Did I pit 3 times or 2? I probably pit 3 times.
Do you come in with a strategy or do you just wing it?
So Preston is kind of our strategy guy. I asked him early on in the season if he could help, come up with strategies. I've had a hard time getting the guys together for practice, but he, at least during like the first 4 or 5 races, was making like pretty detailed strategies. And this last one, he said he was busy, he was sick, he had a lot going on, so he couldn't. And this time I honestly just wing it. I was like, all right, let's just run it like I run in practice, and it turned out pretty well.
I mean, I would say so. You won your
Yeah.
first race. Not only that, you got fastest lap.
Fastest lap. Yeah, fastest lap.
That's only
Yeah.
happened one other time this season, and that was Nismo getting a win in fastest lap. I've yet to even grab fastest lap, but it's all good.
It's elusive.
Only a point. Who cares?
Let's run through the finishing order. Junkai, do you have the finishing order for us? For
Yeah, but we're not there yet, man.
D Pro?
We're not there yet. I need to know how your race went.
Yeah.
how did it feel being passed by Junkai using a controller?
Yeah.
So, I actually didn't remember that you were using a controller until you mentioned it the other day. But yeah,
I
it didn't go well. If that's what
when
you mean.
when Zen asked, "Where are you at from the person in front of you and what position you are in?" and you're like, "Zen, I'm in 12th."
Yeah, no, he asked me. He said, yeah. He said, "What's the interval?" I was like, I don't know a lot." And he was like, "What position are you in?" I said, "Last." So yeah, I had a couple technical difficulties. Again, I don't know why. Kind of chatted about this with Zen in our team chat. It doesn't happen in Sunday Cup, but it's happened twice in GT now. And the Fanatec, I don't know if this is a new update. I don't know if it has something to do with the VR. I don't know. It never happened before VR, but it's resetting itself. And so the first time it did it was I was coming into one of the right-hand turns about three-quarters of the way through the track, and it just kind of what it does is it basically goes like as if you hit pause and that screen comes up. And so I was like, what the hell? Well, when I hit continue, everybody was in a braking zone and I was right behind Izzy. And so I had no chance to brake. So I just ditched it instead of wiping him out through the corner. So that was the first crash. The second time it did it when it came back on and I got the pause menu off, I was pointed at a sand trap. So um, I went into that. So yeah, that affected me twice. And I really don't like St. Croix at all anyway. I hate everything about St. Croix. I hate all the St. Croix. Forwards, backwards, A, B, C, one, two, three. I hate all of them. They're horrible.
How do you like that Ferrari though?
The Ferrari's not bad. It was difficult on this track in particular, just because I either had tremendous understeer on entry or I had tremendous oversteer on exit, one of the two. And I really couldn't find a happy medium there. I was playing with brake bias, and after about halfway through the race, and I was just like, screw it. After it cut off on me on the second time, I was like, if this thing cuts off on me again, that's it. I'm bailing. I'm done. So, uh, but it didn't. So I stayed. But the Ferrari's not bad. I like it. Um, I just don't like it at St. Croix.
So for Webo's clarity, who thought I was in the back because I didn't know the track well or something like that. It was obviously because of my back, and I could not get on the wheel, or I wasn't even going to attempt to try it. I think I could have like gutted through it, but I had to be I had to drive 3 hours today to work, and this is the first time kind of out of the house, and I really kind of had to be at work, so I didn't want to take a chance on something stupid and me jerking too hard or something screwing up my back even more. So I didn't take a chance on it. One of the nights we got on with a few guys and we were running those little 4 lap hot laps. Matter of fact, Xantrum was there one of those nights, and I was just trying to get confident in running on the controller in a pack, and I kept messing up. And it wasn't like huge mess ups that was really affecting anybody else, but it was just I'm all about consistency, and I did not have the consistency on the controller. So that's why I told myself, I'm like, look, it's not worth. I'm gonna get some points, right? I'm gonna get some points. That's why I showed up, because I've already missed one race, and I need to try and stay in it as best as I possibly can. So I just told myself, look, I'm gonna start in the back. I'm gonna be patient until the field kind of thins out a little bit, and then maybe I can pluck off a couple drivers and see where I go from there, which was difficult. Again, I don't miss being on the controller at all. It is so foreign now. I know I've given Merck a hard time, like just jump on the controller, it'll be fine, no big deal. It is not this. There's no touch to it. There's no feel to it. It's it was extremely difficult. It really was. I'd feel the rear end go out on the Porsche, So I'd overcorrect, but literally throwing the stick all the way to the left or right. And then it would like snap oversteer, and I'm trying to refix that. And it was very, very challenging for sure. But I did enjoy sitting in the back, kind of watching the chaos. I think it was for the most part pretty clean. Um, Maybe my pep talk at the beginning worked with, don't dive bomb the corner and stay behind the person in front of you. And
Turn
oh,
one there was definitely some three wide action on turn one. Nobody,
yeah.
I don't think anybody made contact. It was relatively clean, but it was
No,
chaos,
I
sure.
think turn one you can get away with three wide. There's
Yeah.
plenty of room for turn one. Turn two, well,
No.
technically turn three, the 90 to the left, not so much. And
Mm.
but I was sitting from behind, like it seemed like everyone kind of paired up and they got through fairly good, So I was happy to see that. But yeah, it's a tough track for some of us, not Sancho, obviously. Yeah, I just ran hard, medium, medium, medium. I could do 5 laps. I could do 6 if I wanted to. Um, I did get a little bit more consistent, and again, never thought for a second that we were doing 19 laps because every time I had practiced, I was averaging like 310 on mediums. My optimal was like a 307, but I could never get it because of consistency. And then for some reason during the race, it kind of clicked. I think it was because I slowed down and stopped trying to compete as much and just try to get around the track. And then I started pulling 306s, 307s off and on. And the next thing you know, I'm like, shit, we're doing 19. I don't have enough fuel for 19. And Coma started doing the same thing. And he had a little bit more fuel than I did. And I was like, dude, just go around. Fine. We're going to get the same points regardless for our team. So just go. And I didn't run out of fuel, but I, yeah, I had to coast pretty much the whole last lap. I can't believe practically the whole field went 19. I was very impressed with that.
I didn't have enough to do 19. I was so far back I wouldn't. Matter of fact, I started slowing up when I could hear y'all on chatter talking about it. And I was like, I'm just gonna make sure that I don't have to do 19 because there was no
Mm.
I definitely did not have enough. I couldn't have fuel saved or made it around. So I just ended it
Yeah, I was
18.
thankful, not for Floody's sake, but when Coma got around me, I saw that I had 18 seconds on Floody, and I was like, okay, slow down. Let's just get to the finish line.
Well
Um,
done on the Vipers making 19 though, making it to 19. I mean,
mhm.
that's one car that would be, I mean, that's hard to fuel save with, right? I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
the Viper.
Yeah, no, it's they've been fighting that car all season, obviously, but I mean, I think everybody I think pretty much everybody got 19
I
except
didn't.
which again, it's impressive.
What
Yeah,
about the GTD guys? Do you know how many laps they got in?
18.
Okay.
18. Yeah. Yeah. I was thinking it got close. Arcane was, I think, less than 5 seconds away from pulling that 19th lap. But it expired just short of that. But this is not me gloating, but it's cool to see that the promotion relegation is working. The fact
Mm.
that 90% of our league was able to get 19 laps. GTD, all of them got 18 laps. Just shows that the split is pretty balanced. I know there's some separation within the league and stuff like that of GTD and GT Pro, but I mean, for the most part, I mean, they're pretty equally balanced. But we'll see where next season goes. That's all we'll say on
I
that.
personally feel like everybody's gotten faster. Like
Yeah, I
the
mean,
level is just going up and up. It's great.
I was at Slug's house on Saturday. Curious Guy was there, and we were chit chatting and we were just talking back and forth about the league and stuff like that. And he was in eighth place for a good portion of that race yesterday, and I was commending him on Saturday. I was like, "Look, man," I said, he was like, "I used to be last, and now I'm getting picked later or a little bit earlier during the draft," and I was like, curious guy. I was like, you got to understand, man. Like, it's more than just who can put the best laps down. I was like, you literally show up week after week after week. You
Yeah.
very rarely miss anything. You do what you're supposed to, and he's not coming in last anymore, and he keeps getting these little glimpses. And shoot, we go back to Nürburgring last year or last season, and what do you get? Third place or fourth or something like that? Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Between Kuriskai and Thrasher, I think if we had remember how back in school they used to have the attendance roll that you got the
mhm.
award?
Yeah,
I don't know. We'll have to have Glovis run it and find out. I think, well, for GT, because that's all Kuriskai runs, but um, between those two, they've both pretty much been present for so I don't think they've missed any, or maybe one, not
yeah,
many.
very rarely. So it's
That's why I snagged Thrasher for my team this season. I was like, oh, this guy's always on.
Yeah. Yeah. Thrasher
he
doesn't
he
miss.
is, and then you put him in a GT3 car, and he just does better.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, Thrasher's OG, man. We like Thrasher. All right, let's go through the finishing order. So obviously, our man Zanchin here took first place with fastest lap, 21 points overall. Nismo short on his heels. I have to go back and watch that finish. It sounds like Nismo took Zen in the corner very last minute on the last lap. I had to get on the road early, so I didn't get a chance to watch. I'll probably watch it tonight, actually. But Nismo taking second, Zen taking third. Don't Need Time has been just hovering up there, top five, race after race. It's been doing good. Glovis was a little frustrated this race. He put a lot of time into it. He was putting some great laps down. I saw a couple 305s when he was practicing, and he just had a couple like missed opportunities where he just ended up in the dirt, spun around. The Genesis is quick, but it's a beast to handle. And when you try to drive it on the edge, you can definitely suffer the consequences. Larry again doing great laps, still struggling to kind of get into that top three. It'll click for him at some point, and when it does, we're all screwed. Cam did great with the Viper. I mean, taking seventh place. It's a tough car over there. Coleman taking eighth. I took ninth. Floody in 10th. Izzy in 11th. Preston in 12th, who was kind of under the weather, and Mercury with mechanical issues once again, coming up in last place, who I think is secretly trying to get relegated for whatever purpose, so he can sleep in a little bit longer. Zanchin can relate to.
I just don't want to be a captain.
Mark,
I'm trying to stay in that,
just
area.
all right, for Spa, drop VR and see if it's a VR problem.
Yeah, we've already discussed that. We're gonna try it for Sunday Cup, and see if it does it for Sunday Cup.
Yeah.
I don't know. So going through the leaderboard, what we've got GTD Pro, number one in the right now with 69 points. Ayo is Nismo, followed by Zanchin. Congratulations in second with 56. Junkai with 52. So top three. There's our podium. Zen is in fourth with 49. Don't Need Time 44. Glovis 43. Larry in seventh with 34. Floody in eighth with 33. Camzilla with 32. Myself and Izzy are tied with 27. And then there's the relegation line with Komakopa with 23, Chaotica 20, and Preston with 13. So that is where GTD Pro stands right now, going into Spa next.
Coma was below the line.
I'm sorry?
I said, I didn't realize Coma was below the line. We got to fix that.
Oh, he's your teammate. Yes. Yeah, your teammate.
Yeah, he's my captain.
Captain, my captain.
Captain, my captain. Oh, shit. Okay.
Yeah, so we got Spa coming up in 2 weeks. Are you actually going to be able to race this time?
The Spa curse lives with me. I've only raced that once. That was the endurance race with the F1, and I spun out on the last lap, if you remember, tracking Vic down. Oh, that was going to be an epic finish, but every time we try to race it in GT3, I always have something go on that I can't make it. So I'm crossing my fingers. I'm knocking on wood. I've yet to race it in any sort of fashion or capacity within our league for GT3. So I'm hoping for it, but we'll see what happens. Anshin, how do you feel about Spa?
I feel relatively quick there. I th- the Lexus I'm finding isn't rotating super well there
Mm-hmm.
on a couple of the corners. Like turn one is like really brutal. I feel like I'm going very, very slow there. But turn one isn't super important anyway. It's a slow corner. And the rest of the track, not too bad. Not too bad. But again, Spa, like you've got the Spa curse. That's where my last wheel died. So hopefully I don't have it too.
I just got to eke out you and Nismo somehow in a slow ass Porsche on the streets. Um, I got to pull a Daytona Strat and tuck in behind somebody for a little bit, and then hope they get out of my way for the middle section. What we'll see. But yeah, so you've stuck with the same livery all season, right? Pike Fitness.
I just changed it for St. Croix, but it was pretty similar before that, yeah. I heard Webbo talking shit about it. He was like, "Oh, this guy's running the same livery every race. Like, I'm kind of disappointed."
I mean, I probably know the answer to this already, but what did you think of the whole introduction of Webbo into the league and what that has provided us?
Man, I love it. Like, do you know the difference between watching races in complete silence and then watching races with a guy commentating is like night and day. So it's way more entertaining. I find myself really enjoying like watching the GTD after we wrap up.
Hmm.
And then I'll watch our races and I'll see a whole bunch of action that I would have missed otherwise.
Right.
So it's been great.
Yeah, agreed. I think the other piece to it is like, I start telling people about our league and they're like, what? You race and you do all this sim stuff. And I'm like, watch this video. And they're like, holy shit.
Right?
Like, like, yes, shut up. Want to
Yeah.
join?
Yeah. So,
Uh,
so talking about while we're on leaderboards, let's go ahead and run through GTD leaderboard real quick while we got everybody here. So Arcane is leading. He's had three fastest laps and three wins with GTD World. So he's at 78 points. So well done to Arcane. Followed by Dollars per win with 59, Bong It with 53. Those three are above promotion line. So as it stands right now, they would Arcane would be in with GTD Pro, but the Dollars per win and Bong It would be going to promotion relegation. Fourth is Jim with 52. There's a tie with Thrasher and Dirksey, both with 42 for fifth. Seventh is Osmanian Devil with 33, tied with Sully also with 33. Saito 25. Kuraskai with 20, who is tied with Huge Jar for 10th. And then Lalo in 12th with 18. Anatole with 10. And Mr. Fish with 9. So that rounds out GTD World leaderboards. And
so talking about GTD, if everything stayed the same as it is now, Bongit would have to race as captain, which could be fun to see. I don't
that
want to
would
see
be,
Coma there, but it'd be a
yeah,
cool dynamic.
that would be interesting, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Now, so we've been on our team, we've been putting strats together, right? So Coma will put a strat together, I'll put a strat together, kind of like how you and I used to, Merc. And we would then compare it and see kind of, all right, your safety car six looks better than my six, so we'll take yours. And just kind of looking at it that way and kind of going back and forth, changing a couple things here and there. Tex used our strategy, took one in GT Sport. We're going to start adding his points to ours because we need them. But then Bongate got out in front and like it was looking so hopeful that he was going to get the win, his first win. And then just the tires and the fuel saving he had to do. Arcane just ran him down and was able to get past him. But it was definitely cool to see just that whole dynamic. There were so many close battles within GTD. Poor Webo didn't know where to put the camera. Like he was on first and second, and then he was on third and fourth, and then he was on sixth and seventh. He was all over the place. He just couldn't be everywhere at once trying to catch it, and it was definitely fun to watch. Zanchin, you were mentioning your team. How'd you think they did this last week?
Um, well, Thrasher showed up. I don't think
Mhm.
Lalo came to this one, so um, it doesn't look
Yeah,
like he finished too well. He got 3 points in there, so
yeah.
yeah, not great. But he's been good. He's always fun to watch. He seems like he's like middle of the front of the pack. So, uh, like I said, he's like the most consistent guy. I've had trouble tracking him down, honestly. Like I'm trying to get team practices in, and like he's super consistent during race day, but like I don't know where he's at otherwise. So he probably lives a life like me, just working all the time.
Yeah, I'll be honest. There's been times that we need to get a hold of Thrasher, and again, because since we've known him so long, we have his number, so we'll text him and be like, "Yo, Thrash, pay attention to Discord, man. We need you over here for a little bit." And he'll pop in,
Yeah.
or we'll get like one of his captains. There's like, "Look, we can't get a hold of Thrasher. He shows up. We know he's going to show up. We got to
Yeah.
talk to him about something." So I'll hit him up or something like that, and he'll pop in. But yeah, he's just a busy dude and just not into the social media and all that. I just want to race and, to each their own kind of thing. So, you said you were able to watch some of the GTD race. What stood out to you?
Um, I'm loving the consistency. I feel like that GTD since moving into the GT3 cars, like at the beginning, maybe they kind of struggled with them, but like now they're kind of coming into their own. So I think we're going to see a lot of like talent start moving up into the promotion line, into those promotion races, and being a little bit more competitive if they move into GT Pro.
Mhm.
What do you guys think is going to be the car chosen for the promotion relegation? What would you pick?
Well, we don't know the track yet,
No.
but all things considered as they are right now, I would say the Supra or the Porsche.
Both of those are pretty strong too. That'll be a fun
Right.
race.
Yeah, depending on what track we decide, I would say the Supra or the Porsche. The Lambo got nerfed pretty bad on this last update, so I don't know how well it is doing, and it's such a touchy car still. When you run, even running the assist, it's still touchy. So I
I've
don't think the Aston makes it.
I've probably got, some bias here, but I think that the Lexus is a super strong car. So if Preston
Yeah.
gets,
Hmm.
in that relegation race and anybody runs that, like that could take it for sure. It's got great fuel, great tires.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, Dirks is the one who convinced us the season that we took it, and I was, it seemed like a bland car to me. Like nothing really stood
mm,
out. It was a solid car, but it just didn't do one thing above and beyond all the other cars. But once you got into it, like we were talking the other day, man, just the torque on the low end for it and how you can really low, you know, shift up to get your traction and get out of that turn so much quicker, and it can sustain it and truly accelerate out. Once you learn how to do it and get the rotation like you're talking about, like it's a solid little car.
oh yeah, it rewards a steady hand too. Like if you can
Hmm.
really kind of take it easy and wait for your throttle inputs and everything, like it's solid.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to be straight on the wheel, at
Oh
least
yeah,
within 5 degrees left or right of center. Otherwise,
absolutely.
she's gonna go hopping.
You know what's funny? When you took it that season, that was my top car. I wanted it so bad, and then I ended up getting the what was it? The Audi, the R8, because
Mhm.
Victor talked me out of the freaking the Mitsubishi. I was gonna get the Lancer. I was like, yeah, this is a super solid car. Like it doesn't stand out. It's not a
Yep.
great car, but it's solid. Like it'll hold up in any condition, and it's got great tire wear, great fuel consumption. And he was like, no, dude, that car's a piece of shit. Like you can't drive that. And I was like, okay, I'll get the Audi.
Me and Merck talked about pulling the Lancer once because the same thing. Like you could literally point and shoot and just throw it around the track, and it just goes.
Oh yeah.
It's very easy to drive around the track. You don't have to be too conscious of really one thing. It just wants to go. and we just haven't pulled the trigger on it yet. And I don't think really anybody has.
I don't think it's ever been picked.
No.
That's a
Mm-mm.
sleeper right there.
I agree with you. I agree. Yeah. Note to self: don't listen to Vic.
Yeah.
Nothing but love, Vic. Nothing but love.
All right. So with teams, where teams stand right now. No surprise, Team Chameleon is in first with 181 points, just basically smoking all of us for the year. They pretty much got it locked in. I'm not even sure. I don't know. I don't want to do the
I don't
math,
think it's
but
possible to catch them.
it's possible, but it's the window's closing. So second place is Team Karate Tortoises with 136. Rounding out podium at third is Team Universal with 130, followed by Team Amazon with 118, Team Pike Fitness with 116, Team Cannonball with 112, and Team America with 87. So that is where teams stand with 2 races to go in the season, Spa and Catalonia with no chicane.
Mark, how do you feel about Spa?
I like Spa. It's not my favorite track. It's not, but I like it fine. I think the Ferrari will do well there. You know, I hope it will anyway. I guess we're gonna find out, won't we? But no, I like
Yeah.
Spa. Spa, Nürburgring, Laguna. I like those tracks. You know.
Yeah. Zanchin, you said you've been to Laguna, or you said it wasn't far from you or something like that?
Yeah, so I live kind of between Napa and like San Francisco.
Yeah.
Um, and Laguna Seca is down by like Santa Cruz, or actually not quite Santa Cruz, but it's close. It's close. But even closer is Sonoma Raceway. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. So I'll go out there pretty often,
Yeah.
just watch races and got some friends who race like Miatas and stuff out there.
I'm
That's good.
surprised that Gran Turismo hasn't brought Sonoma. They used to call it there was another name for it. What was the old name for it?
Infineon.
Yep, that was it. I'm surprised they haven't brought that in to any of the games yet.
I-
It's a good track.
It must be a licensing thing because they used to have it.
Oh, did they? Huh. Well, yeah, probably licensing. So,
It was in like
Yeah, I've
GT4 or
I've
GT5
seen it.
way back in the day.
would you say Junkai, you've never seen it?
I mean, I've seen it on TV, but I've never like physically or virtually gotten on that track.
Well, hopefully they bring that. Maybe with GT8 they'll bring it.
What, Zanchin, what's your favorite track currently in GT7?
Oh, that's a tough one. Um, Something about Suzuka. I love Suzuka, like just the way it flows. I love that. And you're gonna hate this, but Autopolis is probably like number two. I like both of those a lot.
Just,
I
I don't
think
know
those
what it
Japanese can
is.
really put together a track layout.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I don't know what it is about Autopolis. I can put good times down and I can finish well. I get no satisfaction out of it, I guess.
Autopolis feels like three different
Oh
track
yeah.
styles glued together. It's like it doesn't it's like you have a fast section, then you have a real tangled mess of a section, and then you have kind of a medium section, and they just glued them all together and came up with something with different elevations. It just doesn't I don't prefer it. It's not bad, but it's not
I
great.
hate turn one. That's where I'm at.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I can't stand it. But what are you gonna do? It's all good. Suzuka's good. I do remember the battle between you and Vic, GT Sport at Suzuka. You guys going around and around for 60 minutes was fun to watch.
That was a championship
Yeah,
race,
he
I
took me at
believe.
the end there. My
Yeah, I
tires
remember
wore
that.
out.
Yeah,
It was.
yeah. He practiced his butt off for that thing. No, I do remember that. But you guys, you were in, I don't know why I can remember stupid stuff like that. You were in the GTR, right?
Yep.
And he was in the Supra?
The McLaren.
No,
Yeah, I think he was in McLaren.
he was in the McLaren. He hated the Supra, which was funny because he caused that big accident that one time. Oh well. All right, so moving on to GT Sport. I don't know if you guys caught it. Thank you again, Sully, for hosting the lobby and everything and putting these guys together, get them out on track. I need to get out there and watch it. We wanted to kind of shoot the podcast early this week, so forgive us for not having so much content for that. But finishing order, it was not Vic who won. He didn't show up. Nothing against anybody else, but Texas Speed, who we've raced against multiple different times, showed up, took first place at St. Croix. Is that how we're doing it? St. Croix, St. Croix, St. Croix, however you want to do it. Mr. Fish took second, and we had Bongit in third, who raced back to back, which was impressive. Fish did the same. Siam took fourth. Face took fifth. Priest took sixth. Dollars per win took seventh. Another one who raced back to back. Max Power took eighth. Roy Mustang ninth. Mandalore 10th. Nibider, aka Sean, and then Fat Max, then Executioner. Merc, do you have these up, or do you want me to go over the final standings?
I got the final standings right here.
All
So
right, hit it.
points for GT Sport. First is Victor with 76. Second is Texas Speed with 60. Rounding out podium in third is Mr. Fish with 51. Face with 40. Priest with 34. Sixth is Lepsky with 31. Manted Lord with 30. Eighth is Max Power with 28. Young One 22. 10th is Siam with 29. Roy Mustang 25. These are out of order again. I'm just reading points at this point. I don't know what order they're
I
their
I asked if you were
leaderboard.
ready. I had mine ready.
Their leaderboard is way out of order. At any rate, Sean has 24, Fat Max 10, Executioner $3 per win 20, and Bongit with 26. Interesting to note, the two drivers in GTD World that are setting second and third are fairly regular competitors in GT Sport. So
Yeah,
they are utilizing that GT Sport to get extra practice, and it is paying off in GTD World.
indeed.
So to all
Mhm.
you, some of you other guys, there you go.
All right. Zanchin,
What's the
anything you want
path
to
for these guys to move into oh, my bad.
Ah,
What's the path for these guys to move into like the GT World
That's
arena?
a great question for another podcast at another time.
Okay.
Not trying
there
to
is a
cut you off.
solution.
There is a solution. We just haven't announced anything yet. We're still ironing out the details of what next season will be. We, like every season, at the end, we take everyone's recommendations that they plop in under league suggestions. We walk through every single one of them, despite what people think we do with those. A lot of people think we just delete them. We actually do review them as a group. We have already talked a couple different times about what next season is going to look like. There's a couple things we're looking at for rule changes that might be pretty dramatic as far as rule changes for next season,
Exciting.
including cars and all that stuff too. So, we're trying to always think of not letting it be stagnant and stale. We've talked about our old league in the past where it was just the same week after week, and it just got boring. And so we're trying to keep everyone guessing. So we're not ready to relinquish any of that information yet. Sorry.
But we assure you it is coming, and when it does come, it's going to be very surprising, and I think you all will like it, and it will
If they
definitely.
don't, they'll be sure to tell us.
That's true, fair. Yep. And it will definitely mix things up for season 4.2. So be on the lookout for that to come in the near future. It's coming up soon.
Yeah.
Next couple
So,
weeks.
Zanchin, anything you'd like to see in the league that we don't currently do now, or besides moving your time frame for racing, which we know is a sore topic for you.
Yeah, I'm dealing with it. It's just a matter of do you want to wake up super early on Sundays when you wake up early all week? But
Yeah.
I would say GT2 cars would be a lot of fun, or maybe GT1. But the f- there are only a couple of cars that are really competitive, and like some tracks, like you're going to have a huge spread if you let like all of the cars in that class race
Yeah.
together. So you kind of have to narrow it to like specific, like let's say GT2. Gran Turismo just decided to like lump a bunch of cars together that aren't really competitive. So you'd have to say, okay, well, we're going to take like modern GT 500 cars or however. I'm not sure how that would work, but yeah, I'd love to see some faster cars personally, but I love GT3 if not.
Yeah. We've looked at it. We definitely have, and we would have to pretty much exactly what you said is accept the fact that there's going to be multiple of the same car on different teams, and we either make it a one make or it's only limited to 3 or 4 cars and that's it. Because you're right, like there's some cars that are just dominant on certain tracks. Top end BOP is not the same across the board, unfortunately, and it's a shame it's not as well BOP'd as GT3 and somewhat GT4. But I agree with you. I like those precision cars, and I feel like I still gotta get mine back off of you from that last time.
It
I'm
would
not.
be really cool if we could do like we could divide the leagues up with an IMSA style thing where you had the prototypes and then you had the GT3s and then you had the GT4s and kind of do the leagues that way. But yeah, you're right. The we've run into it several times that the GR1s they don't balance well with BOP on, and so it's unfortunate. It is what it
Yeah.
is, but
So for tonight's plug, talking about that is our ACC League brought to you by Larry and Deeds. They're also shooting their own podcast, so go over there and see what they can do, see what their podcast is bringing to the table as well. We're very supportive of them, excited for it, excited to see what ACC brings to it, because I know ACC has those opportunities to run multi-class. It's a lot more intricate, is my understanding, and I'm scared to jump into it because I'm 2 feet in on a lot of things, and I know that's going to be, yeah, bad for me and the family. It'll be bad for both. So I'll do it at some point. I'm just not there yet. I got to get healed up first before I start doing that. But Zanchin, anything you want to leave us with?
Uh, well, to you guys, I appreciate that you're putting all the effort into like hosting the league and everything. It's super well organized and that's always been cool. So also you ruined me for GT Sport, like or sport mode, like daily races. Like every time I go in there, I just get pissed off and turn off the game after one or two. So um, whatever you're doing, it's a lot more fun than, racing random people.
we
Yeah,
appreciate that. Yeah, that's the goal. That's actually where pretty much this whole thing started, and we appreciate that. The
that's
outcome is what it is.
that's where I've picked up a couple people off of Reddit with some people just venting about sport. And I'm like, hey, we got to fix. And every once in a
Yeah.
while, I get someone in and it does work. But agreed. When I was out for my back 2 weeks ago, I was trying to say, all right, I've acknowledged the fact that I was going to have to run on the controller. So I jumped into sport to see, okay, is this going to work? Despite my inconsistencies, to hell with sport. I I didn't even finish the race. It was awful. So Merc, you got anything else?
Nope. That pretty much wraps it up. We'll be back in 2 weeks after Spa, so everybody practice up. We do have a Sunday Cup, which is going to be Zonda's. So join us with that if you would like. We also have Mustangs following that with the Mustang Challenge. So make sure to
F1.
join. If what
ACC, F1,
ACC, we have F1. Yeah, we got a whole laundry list of
Lot.
things going on.
Yeah, but all in all, Zanchin, it was a pleasure to finally meet you face to face. It's like I said in the beginning of the podcast tonight, man. It's always been a pleasure. It's great having you in there. You're hilarious. You're smart. You bring a lot to the table, and your competitive nature, albeit clean, is sometimes a pain in the ass. So we appreciate it.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for having me. I'll catch you later.
Yeah,
Thank
man.
you.
Nice win this last race.
We'll see all you guys later and see you next time. Good night.
Night.